It was 2:14 a.m. A single scream cut through the stillness of HALBROOK, Maine. Sharp, terrified, and loud enough to wake 3 separate households on Willow Creek Road. Within minutes, porch lights flicked on. Doors opened. Neighbors stepped outside. But what they found was nothing. No movement. No figure running. No signs of a struggle. Just silence and fog. This is Vanished Whispers, true crime. And tonight we investigate a case with no suspect, no crime scene, and no one willing to admit what they might have seen. This is the story of Avery Mitchell and the scream that no one can explain. Avery Mitchell was a 29-year-old freelance photographer. She had recently moved back to HALBROOK after living in Boston for 3 years. Friends described her as independent, private, but kind. She lived alone in her late grandmother's house at the end of Willow Creek Road.
I heard the scream clear as day. It cut through the night like a knife. High-pitched, absolutely terrified. The sound seemed to echo, lingering in the darkness, making the shadows feel alive. For a moment, it was as if the whole world held its breath, waiting for something to move. I called out into the dark, my voice trembling. "Who's there? Is anyone there?" But nothing answered. Just silence. Thick, oppressive, as if the night itself was listening. I felt eyes on me, though I saw no one. The quiet pressed in, heavy and unnatural. I could have sworn it came from Avery's direction. It sounded like it came right from her backyard, but when I looked, there wasn't a soul. The property was dark and still, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was watching from the shadows.
Police arrived at 2:29 a.m., sirens blaring, lights slicing through the darkness. Neighbors gathered on their porches, glancing nervously at each other as if afraid to speak. The whole neighborhood was awake, but no one dared step too far from their door. They knocked on Avery's door, loud and persistent. No answer. Just an eerie silence seeping from within the house, as if the walls themselves were holding secrets. Flashlights flickered across empty rooms, every shadow seeming to shift and breathe. Officers circled the house, beams of light dancing across the walls. All windows intact, no signs of forced entry. Yet, every creak and whisper of wind made them glance over their shoulders, unsettled by the sense that something unseen was close by. By 3:05 a.m., after what felt like an eternity, they obtained a warrant. They entered the home, bracing themselves for the unknown. The air inside was cold, still, too still. Every step echoed as if the house itself was holding its breath.
We found the house locked from the inside, which was strange. No signs of struggle, no overturned furniture, nothing out of place. But it felt wrong, like we were being watched, like something was just out of sight. Phone on the kitchen counter, untouched. Wallet still there with all her credit cards and ID. It was like she just vanished, leaving everything behind. The silence in the house was deafening, almost accusatory. One glass of wine half full sitting on the table. Laptop open, the screen still illuminated. It looked like she was in the middle of something, then gone, as if pulled away by invisible hands. And a single sandal, lying abandoned, left near the back door, as if she had just slipped it off in a hurry. The back door stood slightly ajar, a cold draft creeping in, hinting at a hurried escape, or an unwelcome visitor.
Avery Mitchell was gone. Vanished without a trace, leaving behind a life that seemed perfectly ordinary just hours before. But now, every shadow in that house felt like it was hiding something. Every silence, a warning. The strangest part wasn't what they found inside the house. It was what they didn't find. The absence of any real clues was deafening. A void that seemed to whisper that something was terribly wrong. There were no footprints in the dewy grass, undisturbed by any passage, no drag marks to suggest a struggle, no tire tracks indicating a vehicle. It was as if the world itself had conspired to erase her. Nothing, absolutely nothing to indicate where she went or how she left. It was as if she simply ceased to exist. And outside, the neighbors watched from behind curtains, afraid to admit what they might have seen or felt.
It's as if she vanished mid-step, disappearing into thin air. Everything looked normal, almost staged, but the sense of being watched never left us. Not that night, not since. Except for that back door, it was unlocked, a gaping maw leading into the darkness beyond. A stark contrast to the rest of the house. It felt like an invitation or a warning. Every other entrance was secured, bolted shut against the world. But that one was left wide open, inviting something or someone in. And as the night wore on, the feeling of unease only grew, as if the darkness itself was watching Halbrook.
I was biking past the end of the street around 1:45 in the morning. It was late, but I often take that route home. I saw Avery's porch light flick on suddenly. It was the only light on the whole block at that hour. She came outside, just stood there in the doorway. Looked like she was listening intently to something in the distance. Then she turned around rather abruptly and went back inside. Didn't look scared at all. Just very focused. Almost like she was expecting something.
Police investigators recovered a crucial audio file directly from Avery's phone. It turned out to be a voice memo she had recorded. The voice memo was recorded at 2:09 a.m. That's just 5 minutes before the scream was reported by multiple neighbors.
I keep hearing it again and again in my head. The same unsettling sound, always at the same time, every night, and it feels like it's getting closer now.
The voice memo begins with silence. Then it picks up 3 soft, distinct knocks. After that, the clip abruptly ends. A nearby resident had a Ring doorbell camera installed. Unfortunately, it wasn't pointed directly toward Avery's house, but it did manage to pick up some ambient sound from the surrounding area. At exactly 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 9 seconds a.m., a chilling scream is clearly heard on the recording. And then, immediately following the scream, there's something else captured on the audio. A very faint mechanical whirring sound. It's hard to make out, but it sounds like an engine of some kind, or possibly a drone.
The noise that follows the scream is indeed consistent with the sound of an electric motor. However, despite a thorough search, no surveillance footage shows anything flying or landing in the vicinity. The whirring sound is quite short, lasting only about 8 seconds in total. Then it abruptly stops, just silence.
The disappearance of Avery Mitchell cast a shadow over Halbrook. Whispers grew. Some say she orchestrated her own vanishing, slipping away from a life she no longer trusted. Others insist it was a calculated abduction, a warning to anyone who digs too deep. But there are those who believe Avery uncovered something the town itself is desperate to keep hidden. Secrets that reach further than anyone dares to admit. Secrets that could destroy lives. A pattern buried beneath layers of lies. Documents locked away, names redacted, evidence erased. Avery saw something she was never meant to see. Something powerful people would do anything to protect. 1 week before she vanished, Avery sent a single photo to a friend in Boston, a friend she trusted with her life. The image was grainy, almost as if she was afraid to be seen taking it. The photo showed a van, dark, unmarked, always parked just out of sight. Neighbors said it appeared for 3 nights in a row. No one ever saw the driver. The headlights never turned on.
It just sits there, watching. I keep thinking it's waiting for something, or someone. Every night I feel like it's getting closer.
The van was never identified. No plates. No trace. It vanished the same night Avery did, leaving behind only questions in a town that suddenly stopped talking. 3 years have passed. Hope has faded, replaced by suspicion. No sightings, no suspects. Just a growing sense that the truth is being buried deeper every day. Investigators hit dead ends. Evidence disappears. Files go missing. In Halbrook, silence is more dangerous than any scream. All that remains is a recording, a scream, echoing through the night, an open back door, a trail that leads nowhere, and a town that pretends nothing happened. 2:14 a.m., the moment everything changed. Yet, when the fog lifted, no one claimed to see a thing. The silence that followed was almost rehearsed. In Holbrook, the truth hides in the shadows, and sometimes the shadows stare back.
Just when it seemed the trail had gone cold, new voices emerged from the shadows of Halbrook. 3 neighbors, previously silent, stepped forward with chilling accounts, each revealing a fragment of the night Avery vanished. First, a statement from Margaret Ellis, who lives across the street. "I heard footsteps on gravel, heavy boots, maybe 2 sets. I thought it was just late-night walkers. But then, that scream. It was so close. I glanced out my window. There was a figure, tall, wearing a hood, but when the streetlight flickered, they were gone." Next, the police transcript from Officer Ramirez's interview with Tom Sutter, a night shift delivery driver. "Mr. Sutter, you said you saw a vehicle that night?" "Yeah, it was a dark van, no plates, parked by the old sycamore. I noticed a sticker on the back window, something foreign, maybe Russian. I didn't think much of it until I heard the scream. When I looked again, the van was gone." And a chilling new detail from a third witness, 14-year-old Jamie Carter. "I saw someone in Avery's backyard a few days before. They were digging. I thought it was weird, but I was scared. I didn't tell anyone." The police files reveal more. A transcript of a 911 call, time-stamped 2:15 a.m., a minute after the scream. 911, what's your emergency? "There's someone in my backyard. I heard a scream. Please, send help." "Stay on the line. Can you see anyone now?" "No, but there's something in the grass. It's a phone. I think it's Avery's." The phone, recovered from the scene, contained a final voice memo, distorted but unmistakable. Avery's voice whispering, "They know. They're watching. Tell..." With these new statements and disturbing evidence, the puzzle grows more complex. Who were the figures in the darkness? What was buried in Avery's yard? And who exactly was watching her? The answers remain hidden, for now. Stay with us as Vanished Whispers continues to peel back the layers of Halbrook's most haunting mystery. Just when investigators believed they had mapped every corner of Avery's disappearance, a new revelation sent shockwaves through Halbrook. In the early hours of the investigation's latest day, police received an anonymous package. No return address, just a single USB drive and a note. "You missed something." Detectives pressed play. On the screen, grainy night vision footage, the backyard, the same night Avery vanished. 2 shadowy figures appear. One matches the hooded figure Margaret described, but the second is unmistakably Avery herself. She's not being dragged. She's walking, head down, glancing nervously over her shoulder. Then, in a chilling moment, Avery turns to the camera, mouthing words that, when slowed down, seem to say, "Trust no one." The footage ends abruptly, static filling the screen. Forensic experts confirm the video's authenticity. Questions flood the town. Was Avery running from someone or with them? Was her disappearance planned or coerced? And then, just as the community reels from this twist, a new text message pings the police tip line. It's a GPS coordinate, deep in the woods outside Halbrook, with a single ominous message, "You're looking in the wrong place." The case is wide open. Who sent the video? Who was Avery running from or with? And what waits in the darkness at those coordinates? As Vanished Whispers closes this chapter, one thing is clear. The truth about Avery's fate remains just out of reach, and someone out there still holds the final piece of the puzzle. The town of Halbrook had barely begun to process the latest revelation when another voice emerged from the shadows. In the early hours after the GPS coordinates were received, police were approached by Thomas Reed, a night shift janitor at Halbrook High. Reed claimed he saw someone, on the edge of the woods the very night Avery vanished. "Detective, Mr. Reed, you said you saw someone near the woods. Can you walk us through what happened?" Reed, "Yeah, I was finishing up my shift about 1:30 a.m. I just dumped the trash out back and I saw a figure. Tall, wearing a dark jacket or hoodie. They were standing at the tree line, not moving, just watching." Detective, "Did you recognize them?" Reed, "No, too dark, but I swear they weren't alone. I thought I saw someone smaller standing just behind them. Maybe a girl, but when I looked again, the smaller person was gone." Detective, "Did you see where they went?" Reed hesitates. "Into the woods, I think. The tall one looked right at me. I got spooked and went inside. I didn't tell anyone, I didn't want trouble. The transcript ends, but questions remain. Reed's account is riddled with uncertainty. Why wait days to come forward? Why the hesitation about what he saw? And his story introduces a new timeline, one that doesn't quite fit with previous witness statements. As dawn breaks, officers follow the GPS coordinates into the woods. Their flashlights sweep the undergrowth, catching on something out of place. A single mud-caked shoe, half buried near the marked spot. It's Avery's size, but the brand and color don't match anything her family reported missing. Tucked inside, a folded scrap of paper, blank except for a single smeared fingerprint. The evidence deepens the riddle. Was the shoe planted? Whose fingerprint is it? And why does Reed's story contradict the others? The darkness in Halbrook grows thicker. With every answer, more questions claw to the surface, reminding us that in this case, the truth may be as elusive as the figures haunting the woods. A new scream shattered the uneasy silence in Halbrook, raw, desperate, and echoing through the fog like a warning no one could ignore. Panic rippled through the town as police scrambled to trace the source. Phones ringing, radios crackling, everyone on edge. The 911 call came from a trembling voice, barely above a whisper, fear thick in every word. Please, there's someone out there, I heard it again. Not like before. Closer, it's moving through the trees. Officers rushed to the scene, flashlights slicing through the darkness, every shadow a possible threat. The woods felt alive, branches snapping, footsteps echoing, but nothing ever fully seen. Fear spread like wildfire. I'm near the old bridge, the caller stammered. It wasn't a woman this time. The scream was deeper, like a man, terrified. Did you see anyone? Silence. No, just the scream and then running. Heavy footsteps, then nothing. The search became frantic. Officers and neighbors fanning out, calling names into the void, their voices swallowed by the night. A torn scrap of blue fabric, slick with mud, dangled from a branch. Evidence or a cruel trick of the darkness? Heavy footprints led deeper into the woods, then vanished, like their maker had been swallowed whole. Every searchlight revealed only more questions. No faces, no answers, just the sense that something watched from the shadows. The case was spiraling, fear and confusion gripping everyone. The scream had changed everything. Now, no one felt safe. As the woods closed in, the only certainty was dread. Something or someone was always just out of reach. As dawn broke over Halbrook, a new lead emerged this time from the most unexpected of sources. A local delivery driver, exhausted after a late shift, sat in his kitchen, sipping coffee and reviewing his dashcam footage out of habit. What he found would add a chilling new layer to the investigation. The driver wasted no time. Within hours, he was at the police station, footage in hand. Investigators gathered in a dimly lit room, eyes fixed on the screen as the van made its slow, almost predatory rounds. Can you state your name and occupation for the record? Yeah, Mark Evans. I drive for HALBROOK'S Express, night shifts mostly. Tell us what you saw. Well, I was heading up Willow Creek Road a bit after 2. My dashcam picked up this van, white, older model, no windows on the sides. It drove past me once, then I saw it again 5 minutes later. It was circling, real slow. Did you see the driver? No, windows were too dark. But when it passed under the streetlight, I noticed something on the back, some kind of symbol, spray painted in black. Could you make out the license plate? No, sir. It was covered in mud, and the glare made it worse. I tried to zoom in on the footage, but it's just a blur. Did you see where the van went? Last I saw, it turned toward the old bridge, same place you found those footprints, right? The delivery driver's account, paired with the mysterious dashcam footage, raises more questions than answers. Who was behind the wheel of the van? What does the cryptic symbol mean? And why was the van roaming Halbrook's streets in the dead of night mere moments before the second scream? As the investigation deepens, one thing is clear. The shadows in Halbrook are darker than anyone imagined. Inside the sterile hum of the Halbrook Forensics Lab, something impossible was about to surface. Under flickering fluorescent lights, gloved hands dusted Avery's back door for prints. Routine, until the air grew colder. The powder revealed whorls and arches, so clear, so perfect, they almost seemed etched by something not quite human. On the computer monitor, the prints glitched and shimmered, as if resisting digital capture, pixels warping, details shifting in the shadows. The technician leaned in, breath fogging the glass, eyes wide with disbelief. These prints, they're flawless, no smudges, no errors. But when they ran them through every database, state, federal, even international, nothing. Not a single match, not even close. The room fell silent. It was as if the fingerprints belonged to a ghost. or something that never existed at all. Detective Harris stared at the monitor, jaw clenched, the screen flickering with static. "You're telling me these prints, perfect prints, came from nowhere?" "No record, no identity, nothing," the technician whispered, voice trembling. "It's like the evidence is haunting us." Harris paced the lab, piecing together the impossible, his shadow stretching long and distorted across the floor. He returned to Avery's house, searching for any sign that reality still made sense. In a slow-motion close-up, he pried up a loose floorboard, finding a yellowed note trembling in his hands. "You are not alone," it read, the words smudged as if written in haste or fear. The music swelled, a heartbeat echoing in the silence as the camera zoomed in on the trembling paper. Who left the fingerprints? What does the note mean? And just how close is the watcher in the shadows? The investigation had crossed into the unknown. In Halbrook, every answer only deepened the mystery, until reality itself began to unravel. As the investigation spirals deeper into uncertainty, a new layer of the mystery emerges. One rooted not in science, but in the tangled threads of Avery Mitchell's past. Through flickering images of old yearbook photos and faded Polaroids, we glimpse Avery surrounded by familiar faces, classmates, neighbors, and even the stoic Detective Harris, who stands at the edge of the frame, younger, softer, almost unrecognizable. The narration continues as we see silent vignettes, Avery laughing with her best friend Mara at the lakeside, a tense exchange with her estranged brother Kyle in a shadowed kitchen, and a brief, secretive handshake with the town's mayor behind the closed doors of City Hall. Each scene lingers just long enough to raise questions. What bound Avery to these people, and what tore them apart? For Mara, Avery was the anchor in a turbulent home life. Now, Mara paces her bedroom, phone in hand, voice trembling as she listens to voicemails Avery left in the days before her disappearance. Messages hinting at someone watching, someone she couldn't name. Kyle, once Avery's protector, now sits in a dim bar, haunted by guilt. He recalls their final argument, words he can't take back, secrets he never confessed. His hands shake as he watches news coverage of the case, knowing more than he's ever told the police. Even Detective Harris, the case's relentless pursuer, is not immune. A flashback reveals his own connection. He was Avery's mentor years ago, guiding her through a family tragedy. Now he's tormented by the fear that he overlooked something crucial, something that's come back to haunt them both. As the camera pans across the faces of the townspeople, whispers of suspicion and sorrow ripple through Halbrook. Old grudges resurface, hidden alliances fracture, and at the heart of it all is Avery. Her secret's now the town's burden, her disappearance unraveling the delicate bonds that once held everyone together. The music swells, heavy with longing and regret. In Halbrook, no one is untouched. The search for Avery is no longer just about finding her. It's about confronting the truths each character has tried to bury. Who really knew Avery Mitchell? And what will they risk to bring her home? As Halbrook reels from the secrets unearthed, the investigation takes a dramatic turn. In a dimly lit evidence room, Detective Harris pores over files late into the night. His tired eyes land on a detail everyone missed. A time-stamped security log from City Hall showing someone accessed the mayor's private office just hours before Avery vanished. The camera cuts to Mara, trembling as she listens to a new, previously unheard voicemail from Avery. Her voice is urgent, fearful. "If anything happens to me, don't trust everyone you think you can." Mara's breath catches as she recognizes a background voice, a familiar, calming tone. She freezes. It's someone she's known all her life. Meanwhile, Kyle, racked with guilt, stumbles into the police station, clutching a torn piece of paper he found hidden in Avery's old textbook. It's a photocopy of a bank transfer, large sums moving between the mayor's account and Detective Harris's name. The revelations collide in the police conference room where Harris, Mara, and Kyle confront each other. Harris, stunned, denies wrongdoing, insisting the money was for a confidential informant. But Mara's eyes brim with tears as she plays the voicemail for everyone. The mayor's voice can be heard, followed by Harris's unmistakable laugh. Tempers flare, accusations fly. Harris, forced to confront his own failures, admits he's been protecting the mayor for years, believing it was for the town's good. But he never imagined Avery would become collateral damage. Mara, heartbroken, realizes her trust has been misplaced. Kyle, voice shaking, confesses he knew about the mayor's threats but was too afraid to speak. The camera lingers on each face, betrayal, grief, and shame etched in every line. The once straightforward case is now tangled in corruption and lies. The search for Avery has become a reckoning for everyone involved. As the music swells, one thing is clear. The truth in HALBROOK is far more dangerous than anyone imagined. And with the town's most trusted protectors now under suspicion, the question changes. Who will bring justice for Avery Mitchell when those tasked to find her are complicit in her disappearance? Morning light breaks over HALBROOK, the mist lifting as if the town itself is finally ready to breathe again. At Avery's memorial, Mara, Kyle, and Detective Harris stand together. No longer just witnesses, but survivors bound by truth and loss. The townspeople gather in quiet circles, sharing tears, embraces, and the weight of memories that will never fade. Flowers are laid gently on the stone, hands reach for comfort, and the silence is filled with hope instead of fear. Mara reads from Avery's journal, her voice trembling but strong, reminding everyone that justice is not just a verdict, but a promise to remember and to heal. Kyle bows his head, placing a single white rose, whispering forgiveness and love that was too long unspoken. Detective Harris stands beside them, humbled, his burdens shared at last, his voice breaking as he promises to honor Avery's courage. Around them, the town finds unity. Old wounds begin to close, and the shadows that once divided HALBROOK give way to gentle light. Hands clasped together, strangers become neighbors, and the promise of a new beginning glows on every face. As the sun rises, Avery's words echo in every heart, reminding HALBROOK that even in darkness, truth endures, and hope is never lost. In HALBROOK, healing begins, not with forgetting, but with the courage to remember, to forgive, and to move forward together. The story of Avery Mitchell becomes a promise that no voice will go unheard and no truth will stay buried. As the camera lifts above the town, the morning sun bathes HALBROOK in gold. A new day, a new hope, and the memory of Avery shining on. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more mysteries.